Hello, and welcome to Once Upon a Time in Black History. I am your host, Tamara Shiloh, author, educator, and owner of the Multicultural Bookstore in Richmond, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. You can also find us on my website at onceuponatimeInBlackHistory.com. Our shows are sponsored by the Multicultural Bookstore, and if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please send me an email at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. Alrighty then, let's get this party started.
George Washington Williams, turning experience into history, he was best known as the man who exposed King Leopold's benevolent enterprise in the Congo as brutal imperialism. George Washington Williams, 1849-1891, was also an American historian, clergyman, politician, lawyer, lecturer, and soldier. He was the first person to write an objective researched history of Blacks in America. His first book, History of the Negro Race in America, 1882, is one of the most important contributions any American has made to the field of history. George had little academic education as a youth. He was, however, in the church learning about Jesus, he later wrote. His father, a laborer and troubled alcoholic, was often absent. His mother then worked outside of the home. These circumstances pushed young George into rebellion. His parents placed him in a refuge house for undisciplined and unruly children, where he could learn a trade. When George learned that the door for African Americans to enlist in the Union Army 1862 had opened, he joined and fought in the Civil War. At the time, he was 14 years old and knew he didn't meet the age requirements. Determined to leave, he used false names like William or Charles Stewart, according to historians. When the Civil War closed 1865, George enlisted in the Mexican Army to help fight the French colonists. He later enlisted in the U.S. Army 1867, but only served 1 year. His military experiences would later prove to be influential in creating such works as The Ethics of War, A History of the Negro Troops in the War of the Rebellion, and The Constitutional Results of the War of the Rebellion. When he left the military, George returned to what he knew, learning about Jesus. He enrolled in the Newton Theological Institution, where he prepared for the ministry and was ordained in 1874. He served as pastor of different churches while editing and publishing several journals. He also served in the Ohio House of Representatives 1879-1881 and would soon become a world traveler. It was during a trip to Europe that George met Leopold, a German prince who became the first king of the Belgians. Leopold spoke highly of the Congo, inspiring George to visit several times. While there, he wrote 2 explosive articles about the treatment of Africans under Belgian rule, an open letter to His Serene Majesty Leopold II, King of the Belgians and sovereign of the independent state of Congo, and a report upon the Congo state and country to the President of the Republic of the United States. Leopold was devastated by the exposure of his harsh policies, mutilations, and brutal reign. George traveled to other African colonies controlled by Great Britain, Portugal, and Egypt. When the trip ended, George fell ill and died in England. He was 42. Remember, you can find great Black history books at themulticulturalbookstore.com. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Once Upon a Time in Black History. For more information on this topic and others, visit the Multicultural Bookstore at multiculturalbookstore.com. And again, if you want to advertise in our podcast for a mere $25, please contact me at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. See you next time.